The cardboard box was soaked through, offering no protection anymore. Tasha Williams pressed herself against the brick wall behind the grocery store, trying to escape the freezing November rain that had been falling for hours. Her thin jacket clung to her skin, and her sneakers had given up keeping water out long ago. She was so cold her fingers had gone numb. At 26 years old, Tasha had been homeless for 8 months. After losing her job as a cashier, she couldn't pay rent. With no family to turn to and no savings, the streets became her only option. Most nights she found shelter behind this particular store because the owner, Mr. Park, never called the police on her. Sometimes he left day-old bread by the dumpster where she could find it. Tonight felt different though. Colder. More desperate. Tasha pulled her knees to her chest, trying to conserve what little warmth remained in her body. She wondered if she would make it through the night. The temperature was dropping fast, and her clothes were completely saturated. That's when she heard it. A crying sound. Weak and fragile. Almost swallowed by the sound of rain hitting pavement. Tasha lifted her head, listening. At first she thought maybe she was imagining things. The cold did that sometimes, made you hear things that weren't there. But then she heard it again. A baby crying. She stood up, her legs shaking from cold and weakness. She hadn't eaten in 2 days. But that sound cut through everything else. Someone needed help. Following the weak cries, Tasha stumbled toward the large dumpster. The crying was coming from behind it. She rounded the corner and stopped, her heart dropping into her stomach. There, on the wet ground, was a tiny bundle. A baby wrapped in a thin pink blanket, lying in a cardboard box that was falling apart from the rain. The infant couldn't have been more than a few months old. Her little face was red from crying, her small fists waving in the air. Tasha dropped to her knees beside the box, her hands shaking as she reached for the baby. The child was ice cold. Her lips had a slight blue tint. The blanket was soaked through, providing no warmth at all. Someone had left her here. Someone had abandoned this innocent baby in the rain to die. Oh God, Tasha whispered, pulling the baby against her chest. Who would do this? Who would leave you here? The baby's cries weakened, and that terrified Tasha more than anything. She looked around frantically. The alley was empty. No cars on the street. No people walking by. It was past midnight, and this part of town was deserted at this hour. Tasha made a decision in that moment that would change everything. She didn't have anything. No home, no money, no resources. She was barely surviving herself. But this baby needed her. This tiny, innocent life had been thrown away like garbage, and Tasha was the only one who could help. She stripped off her jacket, even though it meant exposing herself to the freezing rain. She wrapped it around the baby, trying to create some layer of warmth. The infant's crying softened slightly as Tasha held her close, using her own body heat to warm the child. I've got you, Tasha said softly. I've got you now. You're not alone anymore. She looked at the box the baby had been left in. There was nothing else. No note, no identification, no supplies. Just a baby discarded like trash. Tasha felt anger rise in her chest, hot and fierce. How could anyone do this? How could someone leave an innocent child to die in the cold rain? But anger wouldn't help right now. The baby needed warmth and food. Tasha stood up, cradling the infant against her chest. She tucked the baby inside her thin shirt, right against her skin, trying to share what little body heat she had left. The baby was so small, so fragile. Tasha could feel her little heart beating fast, could feel each tiny breath. This child was fighting to survive just like Tasha had been fighting every day for months. We're going to be okay, Tasha whispered, though she had no idea if that was true. I don't know how, but we're going to make it through this. She started walking, her feet splashing through puddles. She needed to get the baby somewhere dry, somewhere warm. The community center was 6 blocks away. If she could just get there, maybe someone could help. Maybe they would still be open, or maybe she could find shelter under their awning until morning. Each step felt like a battle. Tasha was exhausted, cold, hungry, and now carrying a baby who needed immediate care. But she kept walking. She had to. This child's life depended on her. The rain continued to pour down, but Tasha bent over the baby, using her body as a shield. The infant had stopped crying now, which worried Tasha. Was that good or bad? She pressed her hand against the baby's back, feeling for breath. Still there. Still alive. Stay with me, Tasha murmured. Please stay with me. As she walked through the empty streets, Tasha wondered about the baby's mother. What kind of desperation would drive someone to abandon their child? Had she been in danger? Was she too young, too scared, too poor? Or was it something darker, something Tasha couldn't understand? It didn't matter now. What mattered was getting this baby to safety. Tasha had nothing to offer, nothing to give. But she had her heart and she had her determination. She would not let this child die. Not tonight. Not ever. The community center came into view and Tasha felt a small surge of hope. The lights were off, but there was an awning over the entrance. At least they could get out of the rain for a moment. At least she could assess the baby's condition and figure out what to do next. She reached the awning and sank down onto the concrete steps, her body shaking violently from cold and exhaustion. She carefully unwrapped the baby, checking her over. The infant's eyes were closed, but she was breathing. Her skin was still too cold, but she was alive. Tasha pulled her jacket tighter around the baby and held her close. She had never been responsible for another life before. She had barely been keeping herself alive these past months. But looking down at this tiny face, this innocent child who had no one else, Tasha felt something shift inside her. She wasn't alone anymore. This baby needed her. And somehow Tasha needed this baby too. "I'm going to call you Hope," Tasha whispered, pressing a gentle kiss to the baby's forehead. "Because that's what you are. You're my hope that things can get better. That kindness still matters. That love is stronger than anything else." The rain continued to fall, but under the awning, Tasha and Hope were protected. Two lost souls who had found each other in the darkest moment. Two lives that would never be the same. Tasha didn't know what tomorrow would bring. She didn't know how she would feed this baby or keep her warm or get her the medical care she clearly needed. But she knew one thing with absolute certainty. She would never abandon Hope. No matter what happened, no matter how hard things got, Tasha would protect this child with everything she had. Because sometimes, the most important thing you can do is show up for someone who has no one else. Sometimes, love means sacrificing everything you have, even when you have nothing at all. What would you do if you found an abandoned baby in the rain? Would you risk everything to save a stranger's child? If this story moves you, please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us bring more stories of hope and kindness to the world. Morning came slowly. Tasha had barely slept, too afraid to close her eyes in case something happened to Hope. The baby had woken several times during the night, crying weakly. Each time, Tasha had held her close, rocking her gently and whispering soft words she hoped were comforting. When the sky finally lightened to gray, Tasha stood up stiffly. Her body ached from sitting on concrete all night, and she was dizzy from hunger and cold. But Hope was still breathing. Still alive. That was what mattered. The community center would open at 8. Tasha checked the old watch she'd found in a trash can weeks ago. It was almost 7:30. She just needed to wait a little longer. She looked down at Hope, who was sleeping fitfully in her arms. The baby needed so much. Diapers, formula, warm clothes, medical attention. Tasha had none of these things. She had no money, no phone, no way to provide for this child. But she couldn't give up. She wouldn't. At exactly 8 o'clock, Tasha heard the lock click. The front door of the community center opened, and a woman in her 50s stepped out. She wore a bright red sweater and jeans. Her name tag read Patricia. Patricia stopped when she saw Tasha holding the baby. Her eyes widened with concern. "Oh honey, how long have you been out here?" Patricia asked, her voice gentle. "All night," Tasha admitted. Her voice was hoarse from the cold. "Please, I need help. It's not for me. It's for her." She carefully pulled back the jacket to show Hope. Patricia gasped, immediately stepping closer. "Come inside right now," Patricia said, holding the door open. "Both of you. Come on." Tasha didn't hesitate. She walked into the warm building, feeling immediate relief as the heat wrapped around her. Patricia led her to a small office and gestured to a comfortable chair. "Sit down. Let me look at the baby." Tasha sat, reluctant to let go of Hope. But Patricia's hands were gentle and sure as she examined the infant. "She's breathing well, which is good," Patricia said. "But she's dehydrated and she needs formula immediately. When did she last eat?" "I don't know," Tasha admitted. "I found her last night. Behind the grocery store. Someone left her in a box in the rain." Patricia's face showed shock, then anger, then deep sadness. She shook her head slowly. "I'm going to get formula and diapers from our supply room," Patricia said. "We help families in need. That includes you two now. I'll be right back." Tasha wanted to cry from relief. Patricia wasn't calling the police. She wasn't taking Hope away. She was helping. Patricia returned quickly with bottles, formula, diapers, and a soft blanket. She showed Tasha how to prepare the formula, testing the temperature on her wrist. When the bottle was ready, Tasha offered it to Hope. The baby latched on immediately, drinking desperately. Tasha watched in amazement as Hope's little hands came up to hold the bottle, her eyes still closed but her mouth working steadily. "There you go, sweet girl," Patricia said softly. "That's it." When Hope finished the bottle, Patricia helped Tasha change her diaper and wrap her in the warm blanket. The baby looked so much better already, her skin regaining some color. "Now you," Patricia said looking at Tasha. "When did you last eat?" 2 days ago, Tasha admitted quietly. Patricia left again and returned with a sandwich, fruit and a bottle of water. She set them in front of Tasha. "Eat," Patricia said firmly. "You can't take care of her if you don't take care of yourself." Tasha wanted to refuse, to say she didn't deserve help. But she remembered her promise to Hope. She had to stay strong for this baby. So she accepted the food with gratitude. "Thank you," Tasha said, her voice breaking. "Thank you so much." "You don't have to thank me," Patricia replied. "This is what we do here. We help people who need it." As Tasha ate, Patricia asked gentle questions. Tasha explained how she'd become homeless, how she'd found Hope, how she'd spent the night trying to keep the baby warm. She didn't hide anything. Patricia listened without judgment. When Tasha finished, Patricia nodded slowly. "You did the right thing," she said. "That baby would have died if you hadn't found her. You saved her life, Tasha." "But I don't know what to do now," Tasha admitted. "I can't take care of her properly. I have nothing." "We'll figure it out together," Patricia said. "First, let me give you supplies. We have formula, diapers, baby clothes. Take whatever you need." "I can't pay you back," Tasha said. "Nobody's asking you to," Patricia replied. "These donations are meant for people exactly like you. People who need help. Please let us help you." Tasha felt tears slide down her cheeks. She nodded, accepting Patricia's kindness. She took the supplies with genuine gratitude, thanking Patricia repeatedly. Over the next few days, Tasha returned to the community center every morning. Patricia always welcomed her, always had fresh formula and supplies ready. She never asked Tasha to fill out forms or answer difficult questions. She just helped. Other people at the center helped too. Margaret, an elderly volunteer, knitted a tiny blue sweater for Hope. Thomas, who worked maintenance, found a used baby carrier so Tasha could keep Hope close while keeping her hands free. Everyone contributed what they could. Tasha met other homeless individuals who shared their knowledge. Carlos showed her the best places to find shelter. Deshaun shared his food. Kenji watched over Tasha and Hope while Tasha took quick showers at the center's facilities. Nobody judged her. Nobody questioned her decision to keep Hope instead of surrendering her to authorities. They understood that sometimes, love was more important than rules. Hope grew stronger each day. She started making little cooing sounds. Her eyes, which Tasha discovered were a beautiful brown, would follow Tasha's face. She would grab Tasha's finger with her tiny hand, holding on tight. Tasha fell completely in love. This baby had saved her as much as she'd saved Hope. Tasha had a reason to keep going now. A reason to wake up each morning. A reason to fight. She kept Hope clean and fed. She sang to her softly. She talked to her constantly, telling her stories about the stars, about her dreams for their future, about how much she loved her. At night, Tasha found a covered doorway of an abandoned building where they could sleep protected from the weather. She lined the space with cardboard and blankets people had given her. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. 2 weeks passed. Then 3. Hope was thriving despite their circumstances. She had gained weight. Her cheeks were fuller, her eyes brighter. She smiled at Tasha now, and each smile felt like a miracle. But Tasha knew this couldn't last forever. Winter was getting colder. Hope needed more than Tasha could provide on the streets. She needed stability, warmth, proper medical care, a real home. Tasha just didn't know how to give her those things without losing her. One morning, Tasha arrived at the community center and found Patricia waiting with a serious expression. "Tasha, can we talk?" Patricia asked. Tasha's heart sank. This was it. Patricia was going to tell her she had to give Hope up. That Child Protective Services needed to be called. That this situation couldn't continue. "Okay," Tasha said quietly, following Patricia to the office. Patricia closed the door and sat down. Tasha held Hope tighter, preparing herself for heartbreak. "I've been thinking," Patricia began carefully. "Hope is doing well because you're taking excellent care of her. But winter is getting worse. I'm worried about both of you." "I know," Tasha whispered. "I want to help more," Patricia continued. "There are resources available. Programs that could give you temporary housing, help you get back on your feet. Would you be willing to accept that help?" Tasha looked up, surprised. "You're not going to take her away?" Take her away? Patricia looked shocked. No, Tasha. I want to help you keep her. You two belong together. Anyone can see that. But I want to help you do it safely. Relief flooded through Tasha. She nodded eagerly. Yes, she said. Yes, I'll accept any help. Please. I want to give her a real life. I want to give her everything. Patricia smiled. Good. Let's start making some calls. We're going to find you both a place to stay. And we're going to figure out the legal situation with Hope. But first, let me say this clearly. You are that baby's mother in every way that matters. You saved her. You've cared for her. You've loved her. That's what makes a mother. Tasha hugged Hope close, tears streaming down her face. For the first time since finding the baby in the rain, she felt a flicker of real hope for their future. Across the city, in a tall building with windows overlooking the river, Harrison Cole stood in his office staring at a photograph. The picture showed a beautiful baby girl with brown eyes and a bright smile. His daughter, Lily. Harrison was 42 years old, a successful businessman who had built his company from nothing. He wore a blue suit today, perfectly tailored but showing signs of wear. He hadn't been paying attention to things like clothes lately. He'd been too focused on finding his daughter. Lily had been kidnapped 3 months ago. 3 months of hell. 3 months of searching every lead, following every tip, spending every resource he had to find her. She'd been 6 months old when she was taken. Right out of her nursery in the middle of the night. The nanny had been drugged. The security system disabled by someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Harrison had woken to find his daughter simply gone. His late wife Rachel had died during childbirth. Complications that couldn't be prevented. Harrison had held his newborn daughter while his heart shattered, knowing Rachel would never see her. Never hold her. Never watch her grow. For 6 months, Harrison had poured all his love into Lily. She was all he had left of Rachel. Every smile, every laugh, every tiny milestone was precious. He'd been terrified of being a single father, but he'd figured it out. He and Lily had become a team. Then someone stole her. Harrison had called the police immediately. They'd investigated thoroughly but found few clues. The kidnapper had been careful. Professional. The case went cold within weeks, though Harrison never stopped pushing. He hired private investigators. He offered a reward of $1 million for information leading to Lily's safe return. He followed every possible lead himself, driving across the state to check out tips that usually led nowhere. His business partner Jeremy had urged him to accept that Lily might be gone forever. To try to move on. Harrison had ended their partnership over that conversation. He would never give up on his daughter. Never. His assistant Rebecca knocked on the door, then entered. She was 50 years old, efficient and kind. She'd been with Harrison for 10 years, and she'd been searching as hard as he had for Lily. Any news? Harrison asked, though he asked the same question every morning and the answer was usually the same. Actually, yes, Rebecca said, and Harrison's head snapped up. We got a call about an hour ago. A woman at a community center on the east side. She says she might have information about Lily. Harrison's heart started pounding. He'd gotten his hopes up so many times only to have them crushed. But he couldn't help it. Every lead might be the one that brought his daughter home. What did she say? He asked. Not much over the phone, Rebecca admitted. She said there's a situation she thinks we should know about. She asked if we could come to the center today. Let's go, Harrison said immediately, grabbing his coat. Right now. Harrison, I know you're desperate, but please prepare yourself, Rebecca said gently. This might not be what we're hoping for. I know, Harrison said. But I have to try. They drove across the city to the east side, an area Harrison rarely visited. The buildings here were older, more run down. People stood on street corners looking tired and worn. Harrison felt a pang of guilt that he lived in such comfort while others struggled like this. The community center was a simple brick building with a faded sign. Harrison and Rebecca parked and walked inside. A woman in a red sweater greeted them. Mr. Cole? I'm Patricia. Thank you for coming. You said you have information about my daughter? Harrison asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Let's talk in private, Patricia said, leading them to an office. Before I tell you anything, I need to know something. If your daughter was found, if she'd been cared for by someone who truly loved her but who was struggling, how would you react? Harrison felt confused by the question. I'd be grateful beyond words. I don't care about the circumstances. I just want my daughter back safe. Patricia nodded slowly. And this person who'd been caring for her, would you punish them? Report them? If they saved my daughter's life? If they cared for her when she was in danger? Harrison shook his head. I would thank them. I would help them any way I could. Please, if you know something about Lily, tell me. Patricia pulled out her phone and showed Harrison a photo. A young woman with kind eyes holding a baby. Harrison leaned closer, studying the infant's face. His breath caught. Those eyes. That little nose. The shape of her face. Where did you get this? Harrison asked, his voice shaking. The woman in the photo is named Tasha. She's homeless. She found an abandoned baby 3 weeks ago and has been caring for her. The baby was left to die in the rain. Tasha saved her life. Harrison stared at the photo. Could it really be Lily? After 3 months, after so much searching, could his daughter really be alive? I need to see them, Harrison said. Both of them. Right now. Please. They'll be here in about an hour, Patricia said. Tasha comes every morning for supplies. But Mr. Cole, you need to understand something. Tasha has nothing. She's been living on the streets. But she has given that baby everything she has. She loves that child. If this is your daughter, you need to handle this carefully. I will, Harrison promised. I swear I will. I just need to see if it's really her. The next hour was the longest of Harrison's life. He paced the small office while Rebecca made phone calls to arrange for a DNA test. Patricia brought them coffee, but Harrison couldn't drink it. His hands were shaking too much. Finally, Patricia got a text. They're here, she said. Harrison stood up, his heart pounding so hard he thought it might burst. Patricia led them to the main room of the center. And there she was. A young woman in worn clothes, carrying a baby wrapped in a blue sweater. The woman looked exhausted and nervous. But the baby in her arms was alert and content, looking around with curious eyes. Brown eyes that Harrison would know anywhere. Lily, he whispered. Tasha saw the man the moment she walked into the community center. He was tall, well-dressed in a blue suit, and he was staring at her and Hope with an expression of such desperate hope that it made her stomach drop. She knew immediately who he was. This was Hope's father. The real father. The one who had been searching. Patricia had told her about the missing child posters. About the reward. About the wealthy businessman whose baby had been kidnapped. Tasha had seen the posters herself around the city, but she'd never looked closely at the photo. She'd been too focused on surviving, on caring for Hope. Now, looking at this man's face, seeing the same brown eyes that Hope had, seeing the same shape of the nose and chin, Tasha knew the truth. Hope wasn't some abandoned child. She was stolen. She was loved. She was missed desperately. And Tasha was going to lose her. The man took a step forward, then stopped as if afraid to move too fast. Is it really her? He asked, his voice breaking. Is that my Lily? Tasha held Hope tighter. She wanted to run. She wanted to keep this baby she'd come to love so much. But she'd known this moment might come. Deep down, she'd known Hope was too perfect, too well cared for before being abandoned, to not have someone searching for her. I don't know, Tasha said honestly. I found her 3 weeks ago. She was in a box behind a grocery store in the rain. She was dying. I saved her. Thank you, the man said, and Tasha heard genuine gratitude in his voice. Thank you for saving her. Can I come closer? Can I see her? Tasha wanted to say no. But she looked at Hope, at this beautiful baby who deserved to know her real father. Who deserved the life of comfort and security this man could provide. Tasha nodded slowly. The man approached carefully. He was crying now, tears running down his face. He looked at Hope with such love that Tasha felt her own tears start. It's her, he whispered. That's my Lily. My baby girl. Hope looked at the man curiously. She reached out one tiny hand toward him, and he laughed through his tears, gently touching her fingers. She's beautiful, he said. She looks healthy and happy. You've taken such good care of her. I tried, Tasha said. I gave her everything I could. I can see that, the man said. He looked at Tasha directly. I'm Harrison Cole. Lily is my daughter. She was kidnapped from my home 3 months ago. I've been searching for her ever since. I'm Tasha Williams, Tasha replied. I didn't know she was kidnapped. I just knew she was going to die if someone didn't help her. And you did help her, Harrison said. You saved her life. I owe you everything. A woman stepped forward. She was older, well-dressed, and she smiled kindly at Tasha. I'm Rebecca, Mr. Cole's assistant. We'd like to arrange for a DNA test just to be absolutely certain. But in the meantime, we want to make sure you and the baby are comfortable. Would you be willing to let us help you? Tasha felt torn. Part of her wanted to refuse, to keep Hope and run as far as she could. But she looked at Harrison's face, saw the desperate love there, and knew she couldn't do that. If Hope was really his daughter, she belonged with him. He could give her everything Tasha couldn't. Okay, Tasha said quietly. I'll accept your help. Harrison's face showed relief. Thank you. We're going to book you a hotel room. You and Lily can stay there tonight, somewhere warm and safe. We'll arrange for the DNA test tomorrow. Is that all right? Tasha nodded. She was so tired of being cold and hungry. So tired of worrying about Hope's safety every moment. A hotel room sounded like a dream. There's a hotel 2 blocks from here, Rebecca said. It's clean and safe. We'll get you a room with everything you need. Food, clothes, supplies for the baby. You don't have to do all that, Tasha started, but Harrison interrupted gently. Please let me do this. You saved my daughter's life. This is the least I can do. Besides, I want to make sure both of you are comfortable during the testing process. Please accept. Tasha looked at Patricia, who nodded encouragingly. Tasha took a deep breath and nodded. Thank you, she said. I accept. With gratitude. An hour later, Tasha stood in a hotel room that felt like a palace. There was a Real bed with clean sheets. A bathroom with hot water. A television. Heat that worked. Rebecca had brought bags of supplies including formula, diapers, clothes for both Tasha and Hope, and food. The DNA results should be ready tomorrow afternoon, Rebecca explained. Mr. Cole wants you to know that whatever happens, he's grateful for what you did. He wants to help you. After Rebecca left, Tasha gave Hope a bath in the hotel sink, marveling at the warm water. She dressed her in a soft green sleeper that was brand new. She fed her a bottle while sitting on the comfortable bed. I think we're going to lose each other tomorrow, Tasha whispered to Hope. And I don't know how I'm going to survive that. But I know this is right. He's your daddy. He loves you. He can give you everything I can't. Hope looked up at her with those big brown eyes, her little hand wrapped around Tasha's finger. I love you so much, Tasha continued. These 3 weeks with you have been the happiest of my life. You saved me, you know. You gave me a reason to keep going. You showed me that love is real, that kindness matters, that hope exists even in the darkest places. Tasha ate the sandwich Rebecca had left, her first real meal in weeks. Then she took a hot shower, crying as the water washed away dirt and exhaustion. She put on the clean clothes Rebecca had provided, comfortable sweatpants and a green t-shirt. That night, Tasha slept in a real bed for the first time in months, with Hope beside her in the bassinet the hotel had provided. She woke several times just to check that Hope was still breathing, still safe. In the morning, Rebecca arrived with breakfast. Then a medical team came to collect DNA samples. They were kind and professional, treating both Tasha and Hope with respect. The results will be ready this afternoon, the technician explained. We'll call Mr. Cole as soon as we have them. After they left, Tasha spent the day playing with Hope, memorizing every detail. The way she smiled. The little sounds she made. The way she held onto Tasha's finger. Tasha wanted to remember everything about this baby she'd come to love. At 3 in the afternoon, Rebecca called. The results are in. Can we come see you? Yes, Tasha said, her heart heavy. 20 minutes later, Harrison and Rebecca arrived. Harrison was holding papers, and his face showed joy mixed with sadness. It's confirmed, he said. She's my daughter. She's Lily. Tasha nodded, tears streaming down her face. I knew she was. I'm happy for you. Really. She deserves to be with her real family. Harrison sat down across from Tasha. I need to say something important. You are the reason my daughter is alive. Without you, she would have died that night in the rain. You gave up everything to save a stranger's child. That kind of kindness is rare and precious. Anyone would have done the same, Tasha said. No, Harrison said firmly. Not everyone would have. You had nothing and you still gave everything. That makes you extraordinary. He paused, looking at Hope, then back at Tasha. I can see that Lily loves you. She's bonded with you. You're the only mother she's known these past weeks. I don't want to just take her away from you. That wouldn't be right. What do you mean? Tasha asked, confused. I mean, I want you to continue being part of Lily's life, Harrison said. I'm asking you to come live in my guest house. I'm offering you a job as Lily's nanny. I want you to help me care for her. She needs both of us. Tasha stared at him, unable to believe what she was hearing. You want me to stay with her? I want you to have a home, a job, stability, Harrison said. You've earned it. More than that, Lily needs you. She shouldn't have to lose the person who saved her. Please accept this offer. Tasha looked at Hope, who was watching her with those beautiful brown eyes. She thought about having a real home. About being able to care for Hope properly. About not having to say goodbye to this child she loved. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I accept. Thank you. Thank you so much. Harrison smiled, and for the first time since entering the hotel room, he looked truly happy. Thank you, Tasha. You've given me my daughter back. Now let me help you build a new life. For both of you. The next morning, Harrison's driver picked up Tasha and Hope from the hotel. Tasha sat in the back seat of the luxury car, feeling completely out of place. She was wearing new clothes Rebecca had bought for her. Nice jeans and a bright red sweater. Hope was dressed in a pink outfit, looking healthy and content. The house is about 20 minutes away, the driver said kindly. His name was George and he'd been working for Harrison for 15 years. Mr. Cole is very excited to have you and the baby home. Home. The word felt strange. Tasha hadn't had a home in so long. They drove through parts of the city Tasha had never seen before. The buildings got nicer, the streets cleaner. Trees lined the roads. People walked dogs and pushed strollers. This was a different world from the one Tasha had been surviving in. Finally, they turned into a long driveway. At the end was a beautiful house, 2 stories tall with large windows and a well-kept lawn. Behind it, Tasha could see a smaller building. That's the guest house, George explained. That's where you'll be staying. It has 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, bathroom, everything you'll need. Harrison was waiting on the front steps of the main house. He smiled when he saw them and walked over to open the car door. Welcome, he said warmly. How was the drive? Good, Tasha managed to say. She was overwhelmed by all of this. Harrison reached for Hope and Tasha carefully handed her over. She watched as Harrison held his daughter, his face full of love and relief. I missed you so much, baby girl, Harrison whispered to Hope. Daddy missed you every single day. Hope looked at Harrison curiously, then reached up and touched his face. Harrison laughed, a sound of pure joy. Let me show you the guest house, Harrison said to Tasha. Then we can talk about what happens next. The guest house was more than Tasha could have imagined. The living room had comfortable furniture and large windows letting in natural light. The kitchen was small but had everything needed. There were 2 bedrooms, one already set up as a nursery with a crib, changing table and rocking chair. Rebecca helped me get this ready yesterday, Harrison explained. We got all new baby supplies. If there's anything else you need, just let me know. This is too much, Tasha said. I don't deserve all this. Yes, you do, Harrison said firmly. Tasha, you saved my daughter's life. There's nothing I could give you that would ever be enough to repay that. Please accept this with no guilt. Tasha nodded, tears in her eyes. Thank you. I accept. With deep gratitude. Harrison handed Hope back to Tasha. Why don't you get settled in? I need to go to the police station this afternoon to update them on Lily being found. But I'll be back by dinner. We can eat together if that's okay with you? That would be nice, Tasha said. After Harrison left, Tasha explored the guest house slowly. Everything was clean and new. The refrigerator was stocked with food. The closets had clothes in Tasha's size. The bathroom had toiletries and towels. She set Hope down in the crib and the baby immediately fell asleep, comfortable and safe. Tasha sat in the rocking chair and cried. Not from sadness but from overwhelming relief and gratitude. For the first time in months she had a home. She had food. She had safety. And she still had hope. Later that afternoon, Harrison returned from the police station with news. He knocked on the guest house door and Tasha invited him in. The police want to talk to you, Harrison said. Not because you're in trouble. They need to understand where you found Lily and what condition she was in. It might help them catch whoever kidnapped her. Okay, Tasha said. I'll tell them everything I know. The next day, 2 detectives came to the house. They were professional and kind, treating Tasha with respect. She described the night she'd found Hope in detail. The location, the condition of the baby, the box she'd been left in. You're sure there was nothing else? Detective Martinez asked. No note, no identifying items? Nothing, Tasha confirmed. Just the baby in a wet blanket. And you didn't see anyone in the area? Tasha thought carefully. No. The alley was empty. It was late, past midnight. Nobody was around. The detectives thanked her and left. Harrison explained that they were investigating all his business contacts, looking for anyone who might have wanted to hurt him by taking Lily. I used to have a business partner, Harrison said. Jeremy Carter. We had a disagreement about the company's direction and dissolved our partnership 6 months ago, right after Lily was born. The police are looking into him, but so far they haven't found any evidence connecting him to the kidnapping. Over the next few days, Tasha settled into her new life. She cared for Hope during the day while Harrison worked. They established a routine. Mornings were for playing and feeding, afternoons for naps, evenings for family time. Harrison's mother Dorothy visited. She was a warm woman in her 60s who wore bright colors and had a big smile. She hugged Tasha immediately. "Thank you for saving my granddaughter," Dorothy said. "You're a blessing to this family." Dorothy brought gifts, toys for Hope, a beautiful blue dress for Tasha, homemade cookies for everyone. She insisted Tasha call her Dorothy, not Mrs. Cole. "We're family now," Dorothy said simply. Tasha met Rebecca properly, learning that she was more than just an assistant. Rebecca had been Harrison's friend for years, supporting him through his wife's death and Lily's kidnapping. "Harrison is a good man," Rebecca told Tasha. "He's been through so much. I'm glad he has you to help with Lily." One evening, Harrison invited Tasha to have dinner with him in the main house. His housekeeper Angela had prepared a meal: roasted chicken, vegetables, fresh bread. Tasha had never eaten such delicious food. They talked while they ate, with Hope and a bouncer nearby. Harrison asked about Tasha's life before she became homeless. She told him about her parents dying in a car accident when she was 20, about working various jobs to get by, about losing her apartment when she lost her cashier position. "I don't have any family," Tasha explained. "It was just me. When I lost my job, I lost everything." "I'm sorry," Harrison said. "That must have been so difficult." "It was," Tasha admitted. "But finding Hope gave me purpose again. She saved me as much as I saved her." Harrison was quiet for a moment. "I lost my wife when Lily was born," he said. "Rachel had complications during delivery. The doctors did everything they could, but they couldn't save her. I held Lily while Rachel died. It was the worst day of my life." "I'm so sorry," Tasha said softly. "For 6 months it was just me and Lily," Harrison continued. "She was all I had left of Rachel. When she was taken, I thought I'd lost everything. I searched everywhere. I never gave up hope, but there were dark moments when I wondered if I'd ever see her again." "But you found her," Tasha said. "No," Harrison corrected gently. "You found her. You saved her. If you hadn't been there that night, if you hadn't cared enough to help a stranger's baby, Lily would have died. I owe you her life." Tasha didn't know what to say to that. She just nodded, feeling the weight of it. As the evening went on, Tasha felt herself relaxing around Harrison. He was kind and easy to talk to. He asked her opinions about Lily's care. He valued her input. He treated her as an equal, not an employee. "I want you to know something," Harrison said as the evening ended. "This isn't just a job. You're not just a nanny. You're part of Lily's life. Part of our family. I hope you'll stay for a long time." "I will," Tasha promised. "As long as you'll have me." After she returned to the guest house and put Hope to bed, Tasha stood at the window looking at the main house. Lights glowed warmly from the windows. She could see Harrison moving inside, going about his evening routine. Something was changing. She could feel it. This wasn't just about Hope anymore. Tasha was starting to care about Harrison too. Not just as her employer or Hope's father, but as a person. A kind, generous, hurting person who was trying his best. She pushed the thought away. That was dangerous. Harrison was wealthy and successful. She was a homeless woman he'd taken in out of gratitude. They lived in different worlds. But still, as she climbed into her comfortable bed that night, Tasha couldn't help but think about Harrison's smile. About the way he looked at Hope with so much love. About how he'd welcomed Tasha into his home without hesitation. Maybe, just maybe, there was more to this story than either of them realized yet. 3 weeks passed in comfortable routine. Tasha cared for Hope during the day, and Harrison spent evenings with them both. They became a team, working together to give Hope the best care possible. Hope was thriving. She'd gained weight and grown stronger. She laughed more now, her little giggle filling the house with joy. She was starting to try to roll over, and both Tasha and Harrison celebrated each new milestone. Tasha had gained weight too, filling out from regular meals. Her skin looked healthier. Her eyes were bright instead of exhausted. She wore the nice clothes Rebecca kept buying for her, feeling more confident each day. But there was still the mystery of who had kidnapped Hope. The police investigation continued, but there were no solid leads. Harrison grew frustrated, wanting answers and justice. Then one afternoon, Detective Martinez called. "Mr. Cole, we need you to come to the station. We have someone in custody." Harrison's face went pale. "You caught the kidnapper?" "We need you to identify someone," Martinez said carefully. "Can you come now?" Harrison looked at Tasha. "Will you be okay with Lily for a few hours?" "Of course," Tasha said. "Go. Find out what happened." Harrison left immediately. Tasha tried to distract herself by playing with Hope, but she was anxious. Who had taken this innocent baby? Why had they done it? 4 hours later, Harrison returned. His face showed anger, sadness, and disbelief all at once. "It was Jeremy," he said, sitting down heavily. "My former business partner. He confessed to everything." "Why?" Tasha asked. "Why would he do that?" "Money," Harrison said bitterly. "He was planning to demand ransom. He hired someone to take Lily from the nursery. But the person he hired panicked when the story went public so quickly. Instead of delivering Lily to Jeremy, he abandoned her. Just left her in that alley to die." Tasha felt sick. "That's horrible." "Jeremy has been arrested," Harrison continued. "The police have evidence. He'll go to prison for a long time. But Tasha, if you hadn't found Lily that night, if you hadn't saved her, my daughter would be dead. Jeremy's plan killed her." "But she's alive," Tasha said firmly. "She's here, she's healthy, she's happy. That's what matters." Harrison looked at her with such gratitude and something else Tasha couldn't quite name. "You're remarkable, you know that? Your kindness, your strength, your love for Lily. You're remarkable." Tasha felt her face grow warm. "I just did what anyone would do." "No," Harrison said, moving closer. "Not everyone would have done what you did. You gave everything to save a stranger's baby. That's not ordinary. That's extraordinary." They sat together in silence, watching Hope play on her mat. The baby was making happy sounds, completely unaware of the darkness that had surrounded her birth and early months. "I need to tell you something," Harrison said after a while. "When this first happened, when I learned you'd been caring for Lily, I thought I'd just be grateful and that would be it. I thought I'd help you get back on your feet and we'd go our separate ways." He paused, looking at Tasha directly. "But that's not what happened. These past weeks, getting to know you, watching you with Lily, seeing your kindness and strength, I've realized something. You're not just Lily's caregiver. You're family. You're important to both of us." "You're important to me too," Tasha admitted quietly. "Both of you. This has become home." "I'm glad," Harrison said, smiling. "Because I want you to stay. Not as an employee. As family. This is your home now for as long as you want it to be." That evening, Harrison's mother Dorothy came over for dinner. When she heard the news about Jeremy being arrested, she shook her head in disgust. "That man always was trouble," Dorothy said. "I never liked him. But thank God he's caught now and can't hurt anyone else." They had a celebration dinner together. Tasha, Harrison, Dorothy, Rebecca, and Hope. Angela had cooked a feast with all of Harrison's favorite foods. They ate and laughed, telling stories and enjoying being together. After dinner, Dorothy pulled Tasha aside. "Can I tell you something?" "Of course," Tasha said. "I see the way my son looks at you," Dorothy said with a knowing smile. "And I see the way you look at him. There's something special developing between you two." "I don't know what you mean," Tasha said, but her face betrayed her. "It's okay," Dorothy said gently. "It's good. Harrison hasn't been happy since Rachel died. He's been existing, not living. But with you here, with Lily back, I see him coming alive again. I see him smiling. That's because of you." "He's been so kind to me," Tasha said. "And you've been kind to him," Dorothy replied. "You saved his daughter. You brought joy back into this house. That's not small." Later, after everyone had left and Hope was asleep, Tasha and Harrison sat together on the porch of the main house. The night was cool but not cold and stars filled the sky. "Thank you for tonight," Tasha said. "For including me in everything. For making me feel like family." "You are family," Harrison said. "I mean that." They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Harrison spoke again. "Can I ask you something?" "Anything," Tasha said. "Are you happy here?" Harrison asked. "Truly happy?" Tasha thought about her answer. She thought about the cold nights on the street, the hunger, the fear. She thought about finding Hope and making the decision to save her. She thought about these past weeks in the guest house, caring for Hope, getting to know Harrison, feeling safe and valued for the first time in months. "Yes," she said honestly. "I'm happier than I've been in a long time. Maybe ever." "Good," Harrison said. "Because I want you to be happy. You deserve happiness after everything you've been through." "So do you," Tasha said softly. Their eyes met and Tasha felt something shift between them. Something warm and real and a little scary. She saw in Harrison's eyes that he felt it too. But neither of them said anything more. It was too new, too fragile. Instead, they just sat together under the stars, comfortable in each other's presence, not needing words. Inside the guest house, Hope slept peacefully, dreaming baby dreams. She was loved by two people who would do anything for her. Two people who were learning that sometimes, the greatest love stories begin with an act of kindness. And sometimes, saving someone else's life can save your own. The seasons began to change. Spring arrived with warm sunshine and blooming flowers. Hope was now 7 months old and learning new things every day. She could sit up on her own and was trying to crawl. Her personality was emerging, curious, happy, affectionate. Tasha had been living in the guest house for 2 months now. It felt like home. She'd made the space her own with small touches, photos of her and Hope, plants on the windowsill, books on the shelf that Rebecca had helped her pick out. But something else was changing too. Her relationship with Harrison. They spent more time together now, not just caring for Hope but enjoying each other's company. Harrison would invite Tasha to the main house for breakfast. They'd have coffee together in the morning while Hope played. They'd take walks in the evening, pushing Hope in her stroller through the neighborhood. Harrison told Tasha about his childhood, growing up with Dorothy who'd raised him alone after his father left. He talked about building his business from nothing, about meeting Rachel in college and falling in love, about the joy and terror of becoming a father. Tasha shared her own stories. The happy memories of her parents before the accident. The struggle to survive after losing them. The kindness of strangers who'd helped her along the way. The night she'd found Hope and everything changed. They laughed together. They cried together. They became friends. But Tasha was starting to feel more than friendship. When Harrison smiled at her, her heart beat faster. When he touched her hand accidentally, she felt electricity. When he looked at Hope with such love, Tasha found herself imagining what it would be like if they were really a family. She tried to push these feelings away. Harrison was her employer. He'd lost his wife. He was just being kind. She shouldn't confuse gratitude with something more. But the feelings wouldn't go away. One Saturday afternoon, Harrison suggested a family outing. Let's take Hope to the park. The weather is beautiful. We should enjoy it. Tasha dressed Hope in a green romper, and she wore a bright blue sundress that Rebecca had bought her. Harrison wore casual jeans and a red t-shirt. They looked like any normal family going out for the day. The park was full of people enjoying the spring weather. Children played on swings and slides. Couples walked hand in hand. Dogs ran after balls. It was a scene of simple happiness. Harrison pushed Hope in the baby swing while Tasha took photos on the phone Harrison had given her. Hope giggled with delight every time the swing went up, her little legs kicking with excitement. She loves this, Harrison said, laughing. She loves you, Tasha said without thinking. Harrison looked at her and something passed between them. A moment of understanding. Of recognition. I love her too, Harrison said softly. And I love what you've done for her. For us. They got ice cream from a vendor. Tasha had never tasted anything so good. They sat on a bench, sharing the treat while Hope napped in her stroller. I've been thinking about something, Harrison said. About Lily's name. What about it? Tasha asked. You named her Hope when you found her, Harrison said. That name meant something. It still means something. What if we gave her both names? Lily Hope Cole. It honors what she means to both of us. Tasha felt tears prick her eyes. That's beautiful. Yes, I love that. Good, Harrison said, smiling. Because you should have a say in her life. You're her mother too in all the ways that matter. The word mother hit Tasha hard. She'd never let herself think of it that way. But Harrison was right. She'd cared for Hope from the beginning. She'd nurtured her, protected her, loved her. That made her a mother. As they walked home, Harrison carrying Hope and Tasha pushing the empty stroller, they talked about the future. About Hope's first birthday coming up in a few months. About enrolling her in activities when she got older. About school and friends and all the milestones to come. They talked like partners. Like parents planning their child's future together. When they reached the house, Harrison invited Tasha inside for dinner. Angela made too much food as usual. We should eat together. They had a comfortable meal, talking and laughing while Hope ate her baby food. After dinner they gave Hope a bath together, both getting splashed and wet. They read her bedtime stories, taking turns with the voices. When Hope finally fell asleep, Tasha and Harrison found themselves alone in the living room. The house was quiet. Peaceful. Thank you for today, Tasha said. It was perfect. It was, Harrison agreed. He was quiet for a moment, then spoke. Tasha, can I tell you something? Of course. I've been thinking a lot lately, Harrison said slowly. About my life, about what I want, about what makes me happy. For a long time after Rachel died, I thought I'd never feel happy again. Then Lily was taken, and I thought I'd lost everything. He paused, looking at Tasha directly. But then you came into our lives. You brought Lily back. You brought joy and laughter and kindness. You made this house feel like a home again. Harrison, Tasha started, but he continued. I'm not saying this to make you uncomfortable, he said. I just need you to know how much you mean to me. To us. You're not just someone who works here. You're family. You're important. You're important to me too, Tasha said quietly. More than you know. Their eyes met and held. Tasha saw in Harrison's gaze everything she'd been feeling. The growing affection. The connection. The possibility of something more. Harrison reached out and gently took Tasha's hand. Is this okay? He asked. Yes, Tasha whispered. They sat like that for a long time, holding hands, not needing to say anything more. Everything was understood in that simple touch. Later, as Tasha walked back to the guest house, she felt like she was floating. Something had shifted tonight. A line had been crossed, or maybe a wall had come down. Whatever it was, Tasha knew their relationship had changed. And she wasn't afraid. She was hopeful. She checked on Hope, who was sleeping peacefully in her crib. Then Tasha lay down in her own bed, replaying the day in her mind. The park, the ice cream, the hand-holding, the way Harrison had looked at her. Maybe, just maybe, this story had an even better ending than she'd imagined. Maybe saving Hope had led Tasha to something she'd never expected to find. A family. A home. And possibly love. Are you feeling the connection growing between Tasha and Harrison? Do you believe in second chances and new beginnings? Subscribe now to see where this beautiful journey leads, and leave a comment telling us what you think will happen next. Your support helps us share more stories of hope, love, and transformation. The next few weeks brought a deepening of everything between Tasha and Harrison. They spent every evening together now, falling into comfortable routines that felt natural and right. Harrison began teaching Tasha about his business. He showed her the company he'd built, explaining how he'd started with nothing and created something successful through hard work and determination. Tasha was fascinated, asking questions and offering insights that Harrison found valuable. You have a good mind for this, Harrison told her one evening as they reviewed some contracts together while Hope played nearby. You see things I miss. I just think about what makes sense, Tasha said. That's exactly what business needs, Harrison replied. Common sense and care. He'd also enrolled Tasha in online courses so she could get her GED. She'd never finished high school after her parents died, too focused on survival. Now, with stability and support, she was ready to complete her education. You're so smart, Harrison said, watching her work through math problems. You're going to pass this easily. I hope so, Tasha said. I want Hope to see me always learning, always growing. She will, Harrison assured her. You're going to be an amazing role model. Dorothy visited often, bringing gifts and love. She'd embraced Tasha fully, treating her like a daughter. She taught Tasha how to cook Harrison's favorite meals, sharing family recipes and stories. My son cares for you deeply, Dorothy told Tasha one afternoon while they made cookies together. I can see it in his eyes. The way he looks at you. I care for him too, Tasha admitted. But I don't know if I should. I don't want to complicate things. Love isn't a complication, Dorothy said wisely. It's a gift. Don't be afraid of it. Rebecca also became a close friend. She helped Tasha shop for clothes, teaching her about professional attire and personal style. They had lunch together regularly, and Rebecca shared stories about Harrison that made Tasha understand him better. He's been alone for so long, Rebecca said. After Rachel died, he threw himself into work and caring for Lily. He didn't let anyone else in. But you've changed that. You've helped him open up again. He's helped me too, Tasha said. He gave me a chance when nobody else would. One evening, Harrison suggested a dinner date. Just the two of us. Angela can watch Hope for a few hours. We could go out, have a real meal, talk without interruptions. Like a date? Tasha asked, her heart racing. Yes, Harrison said simply. Like a date. If you want to. I do, Tasha said. I really do. They went to a nice restaurant downtown. Tasha wore a beautiful dress, maroon with simple lines that made her feel elegant. Harrison wore a suit, looking handsome and confident. He held doors for her, pulled out her chair, treated her with respect and affection. Over dinner they talked about everything. Their hopes, their fears, their dreams. Harrison told Tasha about Rachel, about how much he'd loved her, about the pain of losing her. I thought I'd never love again, Harrison admitted. I thought that part of my life was over. But then you came along and everything changed. I never thought I'd find love at all, Tasha said. I was just trying to survive. But hope brought me to you, and now I can't imagine my life without either of you in it. You don't have to imagine that, Harrison said, reaching across the table to take her hand. I want you in my life. In our lives. Not as an employee or a guest. As family. As a partner. Tasha felt tears slide down her face. I want that too. After dinner they walked through the city. Harrison kept Tasha's hand in his, their fingers intertwined. They stopped at a bridge overlooking the river, watching the lights reflect on the water. I need to tell you something, Harrison said. I'm falling in love with you, Tasha. I didn't plan for it. I didn't expect it. But it's happening and I don't want to fight it anymore. Tasha turned to face him. I'm falling in love with you too. I have been for weeks. I just didn't know if I should say anything. Harrison smiled, and in that smile Tasha saw joy and relief and hope. He cupped her face gently with his hand. Can I kiss you? Yes, Tasha whispered. Their first kiss was soft and sweet, full of promise. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. I've wanted to do that for so long, Harrison said. So have I, Tasha admitted. They walked home hand in hand, talking and laughing like teenagers. When they reached the house, Angela reported that Hope had been perfect, sleeping peacefully the whole time. Harrison walked Tasha to the guest house door. Thank you for tonight, he said. For saying yes. For giving us a chance. Thank you for seeing me, Tasha said. For believing in me. For loving me. That's easy, Harrison said. You're incredible. He kissed her again, longer this time. When they finally said goodnight, Tasha felt like she was walking on air. Over the next days and weeks, their relationship deepened. They didn't hide their feelings anymore. They held hands when they walked. They kissed goodnight. They talked about their future together openly. Hope noticed the change. She'd laugh when she saw her parents together, reaching for both of them. She was growing fast, becoming more interactive and playful. She said her first word, Mama, looking right at Tasha. Tasha cried with joy. Harrison hugged her, telling her that's exactly what Hope should call her because that's what she was. Hope's second word was Dada, and Harrison's face lit up with the same joy Tasha had felt. They were becoming a real family. A unit. 3 people who loved each other deeply and were building a life together. Harrison started talking about the future. About making things permanent. About legal steps to ensure Tasha and Hope would always be protected. About his intentions. I want to marry you, Harrison said one evening after Hope was in bed. They were sitting on the porch together as they often did. Not right away. We should take time, make sure. But I want you to know that's where my heart is going. Mine too, Tasha said honestly. I want to be your wife. I want to be Hope's mother officially. I want us to be a real family. We already are, Harrison said. The paperwork will just make it legal. They talked about timing. About making sure Hope was settled. About not rushing but also not waiting unnecessarily. They wanted to do things right, to honor what they were building. That night, as Tasha lay in bed, she thought about how much her life had changed. A year ago she'd been homeless and alone, struggling to survive each day. Then she'd found Hope and everything had transformed. She'd found a home. A family. A purpose. And love. Real, deep, genuine love with a man who saw her value, who respected her, who wanted to build a life with her. It wasn't just that Harrison had money or security to offer. It was that he offered himself. His heart, his trust, his faith in her. That meant more than anything else. Tasha closed her eyes, feeling grateful for every twist and turn that had led her to this moment. For the rain that had soaked her that night. For the cries that had called her to the dumpster. For the choice she'd made to save a stranger's baby. Because that choice had saved her too. Hope was 9 months old now, thriving in every way. She was crawling everywhere, pulling herself up on furniture, babbling constantly. Her personality shone bright, curious, affectionate, joyful. She was loved deeply by everyone around her. Tasha and Harrison's relationship had grown stronger every day. They were partners in every sense, making decisions together about Hope and about their future. Harrison had proposed officially, giving Tasha a beautiful ring and asking her to be his wife. She'd said yes immediately. They'd set a wedding date for the following spring, wanting to give themselves time to plan something meaningful. Dorothy was ecstatic, already talking about flowers and music and food. Rebecca had offered to help organize everything. Life felt perfect. Almost too perfect. Then one Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. Tasha was in the backyard with Hope, letting the baby play in the grass. It was a beautiful day, sunny and warm. Hope was laughing, chasing after a butterfly. Tasha was watching her, smiling at her joy. She didn't notice the man approaching until he was close. Too close. That's quite a baby you have there, the man said. Tasha turned quickly, putting herself between Hope and the stranger. The man was average height, wearing jeans and a jacket. But something about him felt wrong. Dangerous. Can I help you? Tasha asked, keeping her voice calm but firm. I don't think so, the man said. But I could help you. That baby, she's valuable, isn't she? Worth a lot of money. Tasha's blood ran cold. You need to leave. Now. I don't take orders from you, the man said, taking another step forward. You think you're so smart taking care of Cole's kid. But you're nobody. Just some homeless woman who got lucky. Leave, Tasha repeated louder now. She pulled out her phone, ready to call for help. The man laughed. I'm going already. But this isn't over. Tell Cole I'm watching. Tell him his precious daughter isn't as safe as he thinks. He turned and walked away, disappearing around the corner of the house. Tasha immediately scooped up Hope and ran inside, locking all the doors. Her hands shook as she called Harrison. Someone was here, she said when he answered. A man. He threatened Hope. I'm coming home right now, Harrison said. Call the police. Lock every door and window. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Tasha did exactly as Harrison said. The police arrived quickly, followed by Harrison. He burst into the house, running to Tasha and Hope. He wrapped his arms around them both, holding tight. Are you okay? He asked. Did he hurt you? No, Tasha said. But Harrison, he knew about Hope. He knew she was valuable. He was threatening. The police took Tasha's statement. She described the man as best she could. Average height, brown hair, no distinguishing features. He'd been careful not to do anything overtly illegal, just threatening enough to scare her. After the police left, Harrison called his head of security, a man named Frank who'd worked for the family for years. Frank arrived within an hour and immediately began implementing new security measures. We're installing cameras around the entire property, Frank explained. Front gate will be locked at all times with intercom access only. I'm assigning a security guard to patrol the grounds 24 hours a day. Whatever it takes, Harrison said. My family's safety is priority. That night, Tasha couldn't sleep. She kept replaying the encounter in her mind. The man's words. His threat. The way he'd looked at Hope like she was an object, not a child. Harrison noticed her distress. He'd insisted Tasha and Hope stay in the main house that night, wanting them close. He found Tasha sitting in the living room at 2 a.m, staring out the window. Hey, he said softly, sitting beside her. Talk to me. I'm scared, Tasha admitted. What if he comes back? What if he tries to take her? He won't, Harrison said firmly. We have security now. The police are investigating. He won't get near Hope again. But what if he does? Tasha couldn't shake the fear. Harrison, what if I can't protect her? Harrison took Tasha's face in his hands, making her look at him. You've already protected her. You saved her life when nobody else would. You've loved her and cared for her every day since. You're the strongest person I know, Tasha. And you're not alone. We'll protect her together. Together, Tasha repeated, feeling some of the fear ease. Always, Harrison promised. The next few days were tense. Everyone was on high alert. The new security measures helped, but the threat hung over them like a dark cloud. Then the police got a break. They'd shown Tasha's description to Harrison's former business partner Jeremy, who was still in custody awaiting trial. Jeremy had identified the man immediately. His name is Mark Stevens, Detective Martinez explained. He was the one Jeremy hired to kidnap Lily in the first place. The one who abandoned her in the alley. Harrison's face darkened with anger. So he's back. Why? We think he wants to finish what he started, Martinez said. Try to get ransom money directly from you. But knowing who he is gives us a huge advantage. We have his photo, his information. We're tracking him down now. How long until you find him? Harrison asked. Soon, Martinez promised. He made a mistake showing himself at your house. We have cameras from nearby properties. We'll find him. True to his word, Mark Stevens was arrested 2 days later. The police caught him trying to break into the property through a back fence. Frank's security team spotted him immediately on the new cameras and called the police. Mark was arrested without incident. With both Jeremy and Mark in custody, the threat was finally over. Hope was safe. The family could breathe again. That night, Harrison gathered everyone. Tasha, Hope, Dorothy, Rebecca, and Angela. They sat together in the living room, a family united by love and loyalty. I want to thank all of you, Harrison said. These past months have been challenging. But we got through it together because we're family. We take care of each other. We protect each other. That's what matters most. To family, Dorothy said, raising her glass. To family, everyone echoed. Later, after everyone had gone home, Tasha and Harrison sat together holding Hope, who'd fallen asleep between them. That was too close, Tasha said quietly. It was, Harrison agreed. But we're safe now. Hope is safe. And we're stronger for having gone through it together. I couldn't have survived this without you, Tasha said. You could have, Harrison replied. You're strong enough to survive anything. But you don't have to. Not anymore. We face everything together now. Tasha looked at the ring on her finger, at the man beside her, at the sleeping child between them. This was her family. Her home. Her future. And nobody would ever threaten that again. 1 year later, everything had changed again. But this time all the changes were beautiful. It was a Saturday morning in May, and Tasha stood in front of a mirror, looking at herself in disbelief. She wore a wedding dress, simple and elegant in white silk with a green sash around the waist. Her hair was styled beautifully, flowers woven through the curls. She looked like a different person from the homeless woman who'd found a baby in the rain. You look stunning, Dorothy said, adjusting Tasha's veil. Harrison is going to cry when he sees you. I'm already crying, Tasha admitted, wiping tears carefully. Rebecca entered the room carrying Hope. The baby was now almost 18 months old, walking and talking up a storm. She wore a tiny dress that matched Tasha's, maroon with flowers. When she saw Tasha, Hope squealed with delight. Mama pretty, Hope said, reaching for Tasha. Tasha carefully took her daughter, hugging her close. You're pretty too, baby girl. Are you ready to be my flower girl? Yes, Hope said decisively, making everyone laugh. The wedding was being held in the backyard of Harrison's house, decorated with flowers and white chairs. About 50 people were attending. Family, friends, people from the community center who'd helped Tasha when she needed it most. Patricia was there, sitting in the front row. When she'd received the invitation, she'd cried, telling Tasha how proud she was. You deserve this happiness, Patricia had said. You deserve everything good. Carlos, Deshawn, and Kenji were there too, dressed in their best clothes. Harrison had insisted they be invited, wanting to honor the people who'd helped Tasha and Hope survive on the streets. He'd also offered them all jobs at his company, giving them the same chance he'd given Tasha. Music began to play and it was time. Dorothy took Hope's hand, leading her down the aisle first. Hope took her role seriously, dropping flower petals carefully. When she saw Harrison at the end of the aisle, she broke into a run, and he scooped her up, laughing and crying at the same time. Then it was Tasha's turn. She walked down the aisle alone, having no father to give her away. But she didn't feel alone. She felt surrounded by love. Harrison stood at the altar wearing a suit in deep blue, holding Hope. When he saw Tasha, his face transformed. Pure love shone from his eyes. Tears streamed down his cheeks. Tasha reached him, and Harrison handed Hope to Dorothy so he could take Tasha's hands. You're beautiful, he whispered. So are you, she whispered back. The ceremony was simple and meaningful. They'd written their own vows, promising to love and support each other, to be partners in all things, to build a life filled with kindness and hope. I promise to honor the journey that brought us together, Harrison said. To remember that love sometimes comes from the most unexpected places. To cherish you and Hope every single day. I promise to love you with the same courage it took to save a stranger's baby, Tasha said. To face every challenge together. To build a family filled with kindness, hope, and endless love. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, Harrison kissed Tasha softly while everyone cheered. Hope clapped her hands, shouting Mama and Dada, making everyone laugh through their tears. The reception was joyful. There was food and dancing and laughter. Dorothy gave a speech about how proud she was of her new daughter. Rebecca told funny stories about Harrison. Patricia talked about the day Tasha had walked into the community center with Hope, how she'd known immediately that something special was happening. Harrison and Tasha danced their first dance as husband and wife, holding each other close. I love you, Harrison whispered. I love our life. I love our family. I love you too, Tasha replied. Thank you for seeing me. For believing in me. For loving me. That was easy, Harrison said, echoing the words he'd said months ago. You're incredible. Later in the evening, after cutting the cake and throwing the bouquet, Harrison made an announcement. Tasha and I have some news to share, he said, holding her hand. In addition to getting married today, we're officially adopting Hope together. The paperwork is final. Tasha is Hope's legal mother now, and Hope's name is officially Lily Hope Cole. More cheers and tears. Hope, sitting on Harrison's hip, looked confused by all the attention but happy. She clapped along with everyone else. As the sun set and the party continued, Tasha found a quiet moment to reflect. She thought about the night she'd found Hope, cold and desperate and alone. She'd made a choice that night to save a life, not knowing it would save her own. That one act of kindness had led to all of this. A home. A family. A husband who loved her. A daughter who called her mama. A life filled with purpose and joy. Harrison found her standing by herself and wrapped his arms around her from behind. "What are you thinking about?" "How everything changed," Tasha said. "How one moment, one choice, one act of love can transform your entire life." "You transformed my life too," Harrison said. "You brought hope back to me. You brought joy and laughter back into this house. You made me believe in love again." "We saved each other," Tasha said simply. "We did," Harrison agreed. They watched their daughter play with Dorothy, her grandmother who adored her. They watched their friends celebrate together. They saw the life they'd built, strong and real and full of hope. "What do you think about giving Hope a sibling?" Harrison asked softly. "In the future when we're ready. Growing our family." Tasha turned to look at him, seeing the hope in his eyes. "I think that sounds perfect. Not right away. But yes. Definitely yes." Harrison kissed her and Tasha felt complete happiness. This was her life now. This was her family. This was home. As the evening ended and guests began to leave, Harrison, Tasha, and Hope went inside together. They changed into comfortable clothes, both Harrison and Tasha helping Hope into her pajamas. They read Hope bedtime stories together, taking turns with the voices. They sang her favorite songs. They tucked her into bed and kissed her goodnight. "Mama and Dada," Hope murmured sleepily. "Love you." "We love you too, baby girl," Tasha said. "So much." After Hope was asleep, Harrison and Tasha went to their bedroom. Their bedroom now, together as husband and wife. They sat on the bed, holding hands, processing everything that had happened. "Best day of my life," Harrison said. "Mine too," Tasha agreed. They talked late into the night, making plans for their future. About growing their family. About Harrison teaching Tasha more about the business. About traveling together when Hope was older. About all the dreams they wanted to chase together. Eventually, exhausted and happy, they fell asleep wrapped in each other's arms. A family of 3, soon to be more. Built on kindness, strengthened by love, sustained by hope. Tasha's last thought before sleep claimed her was simple and profound. She had started with nothing, but now she had everything that mattered. She had love. She had family. She had home. And it had all begun with one choice on a rainy night when she'd heard a baby crying and decided that saving a life was worth any sacrifice. That choice had brought her here. To this moment. To this family. To this beautiful life filled with endless possibilities. Some stories begin in darkness but end in light. Some journeys start with loss but lead to love. Some people find their greatest purpose in the simplest acts of kindness. Tasha Williams Cole had found all of that and more. And as she drifted off to sleep beside her husband, with her daughter sleeping peacefully down the hall, she knew with absolute certainty that the best parts of her story were still to come. Because love, real love, doesn't just change your life. It transforms everything. It makes you brave. It makes you strong. It makes you believe that happy endings are real and that kindness always wins. And in this case, kindness had won everything.